We're diving into a story that has absolutely sent shockwaves through Nepal's entire political system. I mean, we're talking about a former prime minister, a man who once held the most powerful job in the country, being taken into police custody. And let me tell you, this is about so much more than just a single arrest.
So, right off the bat, the huge question is, why? Why would you arrest a 74-year-old former leader, and why now? Well, the answer is this incredible story of protest, a really tragic loss of life, and a political power shift that's just dramatic. Let's break it all down.
Okay, so first things first. Let's get our bearings and look at the key event that totally captured the headlines, the arrest itself. It all went down on a Saturday, late in March.
The person at the absolute center of this storm is KP Sharma Oli. Now, just months after he left office as prime minister, he was arrested by police right in the capital, Kathmandu. And this wasn't some quiet request to come in for questioning. Nope, this was a formal arrest. That tells you right away just how serious this was.
And it wasn't just Oli who was picked up. His former home minister, a guy named Ramesh Lekhak, was also taken into custody. And you know, this wasn't random at all. They were targeting the two top officials who were in charge of security back then. It makes it really clear that this was a coordinated, deliberate move.
So, what's the official reason for such a high-profile, dramatic action? Well, it all comes down to a really serious charge: criminal negligence.
And what's so fascinating here is the charge itself. See, it's not an accusation about something they did, it's about something they allegedly failed to do. The government is basically arguing that Oli and his minister had a fundamental duty to prevent people from dying during these huge protests, and that they completely, catastrophically failed to do that.
And the sheer scale of that supposed failure, wow. It's captured in this one, single, really stark number. 76. 76 people lost their lives in just 2 days of violent unrest. This number is what turned a political crisis into a national tragedy, and it's exactly why this story carries so much weight.
Now, the authorities were quick to say, hey, we're not just making this up. The police spokesman came out and stated very clearly that they were simply acting on the official findings of an investigation commission, which was a formal group put together specifically to look into all the violence.
But of course, in a situation that is this politically charged, you're going to get two totally different stories. On one hand, the state is insisting, look, we're just following the rules, following the recommendations of an official panel. But Oli's lawyers firing right back, calling the whole thing illegal and improper, and arguing, there's no way he was going to flee the country. You can really see this huge divide opening up between the new government and the old one.
Now, to really understand how we got to this point, we have to rewind the clock a bit. Let's go back to September 2025, to the event that basically lit the fuse on this whole firestorm, the Gen Z-led protests against corruption.
So here's kind of the play-by-play of how it all went down. It kicks off with these anti-corruption protests led by Gen Z. But then things get incredibly violent, and that's when those 76 people were killed. The political fallout from that was immediate. Prime Minister Oli was pretty much forced to resign, and right after that, a formal commission was set up to figure out what in the world went so wrong.
And this was the commission's most explosive finding. Get this, it specifically held Oli responsible, not for ordering the shooting, but for failing to do anything to stop it on that first day when at least 19 protesters were killed. This single finding is the very foundation of that whole criminal negligence charge. All of these events didn't just lead to an investigation and an arrest. No, they set off a political earthquake that completely reshaped the government, kicking off what a lot of people are now calling a whole new political era for Nepal. And this is so important to understand. The public's anger over all those deaths, it didn't just go away. It got channeled directly into the voting booth, and it fundamentally changed the country's entire political path.
It's like watching dominoes fall, right? You can see the whole chain reaction in 3 simple steps. First, you have this immense public anger. Second, that anger fuels a massive, landslide election victory for a totally new political force, the party led by a rapper-turned-politician named Balindra Shah. And then finally, just 1 day after Shah is sworn in as the new prime minister, the arrest happened. The timing on that? Yeah, probably not a coincidence.
Which brings us to this final massive question. In a country where top leaders have, let's be honest, often seemed like they were above the law, are we seeing a new chapter for accountability? Or is this just the start of a dangerous cycle of political revenge, where every new government just uses its power to go after the last one? The answer to that is going to define Nepal's political future for years to come.